and let us all do we can to build a better future.
In a segment I like to call It's Funny When It Happens to Them, Disney, Walt Disney, the Disney Corporation, Disney Studios won't have a billion-dollar movie in 2023, ending a long trend. Oh, world's smallest violin playing right here, Disney. This is what you did to Star Wars. Now, I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan. I'm not. But I do pity the community, especially after the abuse you guys and gals went through. What happened to Marvel Comics, the MCU, Indiana Jones, and all these other intellectual properties, plus the endless stupid remakes. Disney, you're creatively bankrupt, especially if you have to make a remake or a reimagining or make a sequel or to a prequel to a movie that nobody asked for. So let's talk about why is Disney losing? Hey, Disney going under. Take that, Walt. After Wish, which is a movie that came out apparently, underwhelming opening this past weekend, the spotlight is on Disney once again and the rough year this once incredibly reliable brand has had. It went under? Well, what happened, Disney? What went wrong? Did you give a middle finger to fans? Did you have subpar writers make subpar scripts that were then turned to subpar movies? Is that what happened, Disney? Because apparently it did. Specify, as Variety pointed out in a recent analysis of this troubling box office streak, Disney looks primed to end 2023 without a single movie crossing, oh no, the $1 billion mark. To be clear, that $1 billion mark is not an easy one to cross. It isn't? Only 2 movies, Barbie and a Super Mario Bros. Movie, have done it yet this year, but that used to be nearly a given for Disney. Well, I'm glad the Super Mario Bros. And Barbie did it. I always knew that those 2 movies had heart. We're not going to count 2020, 2021, which were wildly abnormal years for the box office amid the COVID-19 lockdowns. But going back to pre-pandemic times, Disney had a whopping $7 billion hits in 2019. No, we're not counting Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was parasitic, okay? It jumped on. It was a subpar movie that jumped on when the Marvel movies were hotcakes, okay? Avengers, Endgame, the live-action Aladdin, oh, and Lion King, oh, those were terrible movies. Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, which didn't cross the billion until early 2020, but was released at the end of 2019. Oh, so that doesn't count. By the way, Rey Skywalker is the granddaughter of Palpatine, okay? She used identity theft to steal the Skywalker name. Simple. At the end of last year, Disney had $1 billion movie in Avatar, The Way of Water, which grossed a whopping $2.3 billion worldwide. But as Variety points out, excluding pandemic years, 2023 will mark the first time since 2014 that Disney will fail to have a movie cross the $1 billion threshold. To which I say, good. Very good. People are tired of the Disney crap. All right. And look, Marvel, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but maybe at the end of Endgame, once you make this delicious meal, because, take making a movie like making a delicious steak, right? You got to cook it properly, but you also have to let the meat rest. You just can't cut it right away. All right. Gordon Ramsay and Marco will kill you if you do that. Okay. Gordon Ramsay will beat you with an inch of your life, and Marco will give you that death stare, and you'll do it yourself. Okay? So you just gotta let things rest. Maybe let the Marvel movie cinematic universe, let it just quiet down for 10 years, and then hire new actors. Hire somebody new to play Iron Man or Captain America. I don't know. Just throwing stuff at the wall here, but as Daniel pointed out a long time ago, because we had this conversation, there was no way that they were ever going to do it because they set up their infrastructure to have continuous content, and that's why you're seeing nothing but jabronis being promoted as the next Marvel superheroes. But I digress. Taking it easy. All right. Especially painful is the fact that this year marks Disney's 100th anniversary. Oh, how funny. So perhaps symbolic that it should find itself as a crossroads in a century in, wishing for a better 2024. That's not going to happen. This year has undoubtedly been a tough one for Disney at the box office, with CEO Bob Iger even admitting in various earning calls, to be in on those earning calls, just to hear it, that the performances of some movies have been disappointing, acknowledging that they were in a period of fixing after a year of flops and layoffs. Among the movies to pull in a disappointing returns are Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I didn't watch that. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery. I did not come up with that. Other channels came up with that, but I think it's a great name. And I did see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery pirated. And I hate that movie. I mean, Indiana Jones had a goddaughter that we never knew about. And then when Indiana Jones's character friends die in one scene in the movies, as they're escaping, she makes this smug laugh like, ha, 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 ha. And Indiana Jones rightfully says, why are you laughing? My friends died. And she turns around and gives this half-ass apology like, oh, I'm sorry. Get out of here. The Little Mermaid, meanwhile, did decently with $569 million, but it was still quite the dip from other popular live-action remakes. Pixar's managed to make a comeback after an underwhelming opening to gross $495 million worldwide, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was a certified success with $845 million, but neither of those were enough to push Disney into the billion-dollar zone. The Marvels, this movie's god-awful terrible. I had a friend talk to me. Like they sent me like a text message like, hey, here's what happens. And I just was like, oh, that's terrible. And I said, are you ever going to get those 2 hours back? And he says, I don't know. The Marvels, meanwhile, had the MCU's worst opening earlier this month with $47 million. That is terrible. No doubt impacted by the lack of a press tour with then ongoing actors' strike. Disney's latest release, Wish, struggled against middling reviews to pull in just $31.7 million over the Thanksgiving holiday. Holy Christ, that is terrible. However, as the analysis point out in Variety's report, it's not just Disney as Hollywood at large just to trends established amid the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly the quicker movies to streaming. Disney in particular has invested a ton in streaming service Disney Plus, keeping a steady flow of Marvel and Star Wars series coming out for better or worse, which are mediocre series. Now, people said that Andor was good. Okay, whatever. But all these other Star Wars films coming out, all these Star Wars movies, all these Marvel shows. It's like doing homework now. To watch a movie, I have to watch a TV show. That's how you know these writers don't know what they're doing. But then again, hold on. It gets a little bit better. As noted, only 2 movies have crossed the $1 billion in 2023, with Oppenheimer close to the milestone at $950 million. Still, it's not a good sign for Disney, which was once seemingly unstoppable at the box office. Well, yes, but maybe because also people are tired of Hollywood. Hollywood likes to project. Hollywood likes to dictate to us. Now, I want to play this video. It's not in relation to Disney, okay? But I think it's very important that we see this video because there was a guest on Patrick Bet-David's show, the PBD podcast, and it should tell you really about these CEOs and presidents that run Hollywood, these producers that run Hollywood, these Hollywood elites that are scummy. You see, I'm not a fan of Hollywood. I hope that we enter into a second renaissance in which perhaps we see more creative studios rise out from the ashes of the Hollywood empire. That perhaps maybe we see more independent studios pop up nationwide. Who says that Hollywood has to be the all-access point for entertainment? I think it's had its time, and I think we're long overdue for a new creative, artistic renaissance of new stories, new intellectual properties, new things to inspire people to be better, new stories to make us feel good, to think more. Boy, what a sight that would be. Now, this video is going to be difficult to watch. It's 4 minutes long, but I encourage all of you to watch it in its full entirety because it sums up perfectly what Hollywood is made up of.
Is there a moment you remember?
Yeah, well, there are a couple that are really funny. One of them is I was sitting at, and I won't name names here, but I was sitting in one of the biggest studios with a fairly prominent actor who had a deal at that studio at the time, pitching a series that we had written and wanted to have picked up. And it was the president, I mean, one of the most powerful guys in the business, the president of that studio, took the meeting with, not because of my stature, but the stature of my partner on that project. And he had 2 female executives flanking him. These are the people who develop shows. They make a good living. They've already
Flanking him or the president?
flanking the president.
Got it.
And they're hearing our pitch. I'm sure they all started in the mailroom. They all went to Harvard Law, He's flipping through the pages. He's totally uninterested. We're doing our dog and pony show,
And that's what you have to do. I've heard stories from people, secondhand stories, firsthand stories about, hey, they try to make it to Hollywood, trying to pitch their ideas. And look, folks, Hollywood is a place where good ideas go to die. Some of these stories are difficult and tough to listen to because you hear the sadness and the despair. Plus, on top of that, what you have to do to play the game in Hollywood. Just a short reminder, Hollywood recently made a movie. It's probably maybe 2 years old now or something like that, about the reporters who broke the Harvey Weinstein scandal, right? And this was like Hollywood's own pat on the back, like, oh yeah, we're having accountability. No, nothing changed in Hollywood. There's still scumbag people like Harvey in Hollywood. And not all of them are guys. Some of them are gals too. It's a place where people abuse power. It's a place where people destroy other people's lives, where creations are destroyed, because Hollywood, in my opinion, is corrupt.
Trying to get a laugh. You don't get any. And he gets to a certain page and he says, yeah, guys, this is fine. Who's the babe? And I said, what do you mean? Who's the babe? Who's going to be the babe? And I said,
with, mind you, 2 women flanking the president. Me too, time's up. You sure know how to hit that home run homer, don't you?
And again, I don't want to name names here because the story is somewhat humiliating, but I named a prominent actress who was working at that time as somebody who we thought would be good for the role. And he
Somebody
said,
we would know.
somebody you would know. And he said, this is live too, so I don't want to say anything that gets you kicked off the internet. But I said, how about this gal? That's kind of who we were thinking. He was like, no, I've already picked her.
Wow.
You got to give me the gal that I want.
Wow.
People might be sitting back and saying, that's not true. Oh, sweet summer child, you know nothing of Hollywood and the depravity that is in that nightmarish land. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. This is going to be a real democracy. It might cause an intense back and forth fight between the audience, but type 1, which area, which place is more vile and evil and scummy and depraved? All of Hollywood or Washington, D.C.? Type 1 for Hollywood, a type 2 for Washington, D.C. There won't be any middle ground. You make the choice. I wonder which number will prevail. I wonder.
And I was taken aback. Obviously, I was a young guy at the time, naive. He looks over at the gal next to him and he says, what about, and he named another somewhat prominent actress. He says, now that's a babe I want to. I mean, admit it. If you had it, you'd fuck her.
These people like that exist in Hollywood, and they make movies where ideas go to the... And you have to wonder what some of these actors and actresses and stagehands and people have to go through just to work in that environment. Now you know why I kind of want to see Hollywood burn to the ground. I have no great reason other just to sit back and watch it burn. Like the Joker. Sometimes some men just want to watch the world burn. That's my philosophy. I hope for a second renaissance. It's long overdue.
And I thought, if this were Walmart, tomorrow it would be named Stephanie Mart or whatever the name of that female executive for it was. Like she would own this entire company tomorrow. But he has a power that a CEO in a widget factory does not have. He stands between her and the
Fame.
Dream, the thing, the thing to which everyone in that community aspires, the thing that, shows all the guys back in your small hometown that they were wrong about you or whatever it is, right?
Of course.
And so he has this power, and the contrarian in me, perhaps the believer in me, I recoiled against that in a way like a snake. And it was a very depressing moment because I realized I am not willing to do what is necessary to get the love that I desire. And so you start thinking, who are my enemies? I think that my enemies are the people who try to use coercion and force to impose their view of the world on other people. Sadly, it's even alive on the right now. This sort of authoritarian moment in which we live, predominantly on the left, but not completely foreign from the current right. I reject that.
Oh, it's there on the right, dude. The right and left have authoritarianism. Okay, simple as that. Just like there's snowflakes on the right, there's snowflakes on the left. There's SJWs on the left. There's SJWs on the right. Okay, both have their extremes.
Recoil at it. I despise it. If my life is dedicated to anything, it's fighting for the ability of me to be my authentic self, the ability of other people to be their authentic self. And I don't mean that in some sort of loose, lefty, detached from reality. You should conform to my. That's just another way of using force to say you should conform to my view. That's not what I mean. I mean that you should get to be the actual you, and that requires coming up with other people, coming against other people's opinions of what you are, which is the thing that the left tries to keep from ever happening. You should never have to encounter anyone's opinion about you. I want to clear all of that out of the way. Those are the enemies that I suppose I didn't know I was going to have when I started out in life, and now I do. Then there's, the people who just come at you, or the people who betray you, or the people who hurt you in some personal way, and they sort of become your enemy for some reason that you didn't see coming. But the thing that I'm fighting against, I think, is
I think
coercion.
So that's a true story. Sad story of Hollywood. A nightmare wasteland where dreams go to die. But I can take comfort in knowing that people are saving their hard-earned money and not going to these movies that Hollywood is spewing out, most notably Disney. I feel that the way Disney has managed intellectual properties like Marvel Comics with the MCU, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and all their other intellectual properties has gone down the toilet. I think they have fumbled the ball. They have systematically made movies that are trashed, and which people are using their wallets and saying, no, we will not attend. No, we will not watch. Because people want good stories, inspiring stories. They don't want to see their heroes become miserable old shells. When Luke Skywalker came out as a sad, depressed old man, I just couldn't help but think of the old school expanded universe of Luke Skywalker, who saw the best in people. He actually found love and actually had a family. Han Solo wasn't just a dad who went out to get milk and cigarettes and never came back. He actually was a father. He cared about his family. And he actually became a better person too. Him and Leia had a great relationship. And then when it comes down to Marvel Comics and the Marvel movies coming out, what? Captain America and Tony Stark, they were just bad guys. And all these new superheroes that are being promoted, what they're supposed to be better than the Avengers who came out. I mean, I think we all remember when the first Avengers movie came out. That was like a movie event to see, like The Dark Knight that came out in 2008. That was a great movie to see. People were happy to see that. People enjoyed watching that movie. Those were things that you went there to enjoy. So maybe Hollywood will go under. It won't happen today. I mean, look, I want to see CNN go belly up too. It's, guess we all got to wait. But this should inspire all of you to realize and look past the curtain. Hollywood as an industry, they're collapsing, and they will someday reach their end. And like the big dumb animal that it is, it will keel over and be gone. May something far better replace it. Who knows? Maybe you watching, have that idea, that new studio that will inspire creativity and so much more. Maybe it'll be you.